Hello there, Aquarius. Welcome to your monthly forecast. This is for the month of July, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes through for your sign, especially because what I've been doing this month is keeping an eye out for breakthrough moments. What that means basically is there are some opportunities that I've been sensing for each and every sign to either create something new or let go of something from the past. And sometimes it's a little bit of both. We won't know until we get into the forecast here. So this should be exciting for both of us, and you should walk away hopefully with something that will really help you with the month ahead. Now, if you're brand new, let me talk about how everything is organized here for a moment. First of all, you can always use these readings for your sun, your rising, as well as your moon sign. And if you want to watch for someone in your life that you love, this could be a child, a partner, or someone that you just care about, you can definitely do that as well. If you don't happen to know your sun, rising, and your moon sign, don't worry about it. Just stick with the sign that you were born under, and you'll get more than enough information by doing that. To everybody that is a return viewer, I would like to say thank you so much for continuing to show up to not only support me, but to do the work on yourself. It's your enthusiasm, the growth that you've been able to do so far, and again, your continued curiosity that really makes it worth my while, so thanks for showing up. For everybody that's brand new, I'd also like to extend a nice warm welcome, and I'll give you an introduction here as well. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh, and the way that I organize the forecast is as follows. I like to start off with just a little bit of raw intuition. I call this the channeled message, and we'll be getting into that in just a second, so please stick around for that. And after that, I take a look at the Celtic cross. This gives us a chance to look at all the highs, the lows, all the opportunities for the month ahead, and I like to spotlight some very specific areas that I know everyone's interested in, including health, wealth, love, and destiny, and that's the expanded forecast. If after watching this you really enjoy what you see, then please stick around until the very end. Not only will I give you a quick review of everything we talked about plus a closing message, but I'll also outline how you can give back to this channel. And that ranges from booking an appointment to giving a contribution or just liking and subscribing across the different social media networks that I'm on. So anyway, we'll talk more about that later. I know right now you're interested in this month's messages, and I don't blame you, so let's get straight into the channeled message for the month of July. This month, as I meditated over your sign, the image that came through was some sort of a sculptor or metal worker or some sort of an artisan that would work with either recycled material or raw material, and through their own ability to see something and then channel it through their hands, they bring into creation or birth something brand new. I really like this imagery because what it's showing me is that really doesn't matter where you're coming from right now in your life, what kind of skill set you have, what kind of resources you have. The most important component is vision. And if there's something that you want to change this month, the message for you is to honor that vision and then do whatever you need to really see it through to completion. Imagine how sculptors must have felt back in the day when they were sitting in front of a big slab of marble and they're chiseling away at this, and people are walking by them thinking, how can this become something more than just a slab of material? The artist couldn't afford to entertain that doubt. They had to simply become a clear channel and execute on the vision. We all have that ability. You have that ability this month. As I wrote everything down, or tried to capture it anyway in automatic writing, I wrote down the word forge, which was that idea of really using your hands, using your materials, using resources around you, or getting people around you interested to actually do that act of creation. And in doing so, you can evolve and create both things and activities and ways of thinking, new habits. You could even change like your health habits this month. That could be something that you create. The main thing, and I would say the only thing you really have to put your energy behind, is focusing on the vision and the possibilities. When you see it and when you can get people around you excited about what you see, then the sky is the limit. When you look at really successful businesswomen and businessmen, the way that they have found their success is through passion. And if you have any doubt that this passion is contagious, look at someone like Oprah Winfrey when she does her favorite things lists or her book lists. She can really create an entire movement, or she did in the past, and it was just because her enthusiasm was palpable, was real, and we wanted to feel whatever she was feeling. If she was screaming things, look at this, and the whole audience would get behind it. So that's an example of one form of enthusiasm kind of pushing a movement. You can look at someone else like Stephen Jobs when he was alive, and all of the stuff that we're still using that came from his imagination. And even also someone like maybe Richard Branson, who took something like the airlines and thought, I could do this better, and created like Virgin Airlines. So whether it's an evolution of something where you think, I have a better idea, or something brand new where you think, all right, let's put a computer in our palm and put a phone in it and everything else, and basically it's almost like Star Trek. Or it's about getting people excited about something that you want to see happen, like maybe literacy and reading. These three individuals worked hard, didn't take no for an answer, and kept talking and kept doing things until people listened. So be persistent, be a little stubborn. I know your sign can really be strong and communicative, so I want you to get behind those skills this month. Those are two assets for you, and I think that your first component of changing, your first big breakthrough, is to simply know that your ideas are valid and that you can make a change, and I believe in you, and you need to believe in yourself as well. That belief will knock down walls, will open up minds, will also get people's hearts to open up as well. All right, what an exciting segue into looking at the cards now. I'm going to pull out a full Celtic cross as I do every month, and as you know, I like to remain quiet at this point so that I can observe the cards, the positions, and also get additional information. Afterwards, I'll pull up each and every card and we'll talk about how it relates to you and the month ahead. So the first thing that came through was the owl, which I see as knowledge, vision, and sometimes thinking things through a little bit too much. This is why the card came through in the reverse state. For many of you, your knowledge can sometimes collide with your intuition. I want you to trust that what you know, your inner knowledge, you can always count on that, even if you can't explain it away. And this month, there may be things that come through where you simply know, I have to do this, or I can trust, or I can't trust this person, or this article, or whatever it is that's coming through. Really honor your intuition, and that's going to be pivotal to your ability to, as we said earlier, trust your gut and create something interesting and new. When you look at people that are innovators and change the world, they're not trying to do what everyone else is doing. Social justice, for instance, came about because people realized that this isn't working, this isn't right, we have to change. So you can do some powerful things this month by going counter to the flow and against what people think, especially if it's for the greater good or for something that you really understand has a place in this world. One last thing that I'd like to talk about in respect to this card is that you don't want to overthink. For any of you that are creative or who have ever experienced something where you had a core idea, and a great example actually is if you're in a corporate environment and there's like this group that kind of needs to weigh in on it, suddenly the idea gets bogged down, watered down, and you lose track of the core essence that was originally so inspiring. Don't lose track of whatever that core idea is. Don't let other people kind of tag all these things on. Or we look at government and there's, if they're trying to pass a bill, they put like hundreds and hundreds of other things and then it gets rejected because people can't agree anymore. Keep the idea simple, keep the vision very concise, And by doing this, you're going to be okay. Don't overthink, okay? Your central card is all about being able to see things. There's a common thread this month. It's seeing things through, seeing things clearly, helping other people see it. Your vision and your ability to project the vision is key. We have the Two of Wands here, which I normally see illustrated as someone looking at the world or looking at a globe and seeing possibilities. For this one, notice that the caption says gateway. There may be someone that is blocking your vision. This is reversed this month, which is saying don't accept the block, be strong, stand up for yourself, fight for what you care about. There is, again, a strong energy of going counter to the flow, being an activist, being a little headstrong. And as I said that, I felt an activation right in my solar plexus, which means there might be like a tug of war, a little bit of a power struggle for some of you between people in authority or people around you, close family members as well, because a lot of times this will come through if you're arguing with a parent or just really having to dig your feet in the ground and say, this is how it needs to be. This made me smile when I was pulling the cards here, because look what we have coming through for the Eight of Pentacles. It's actually someone that is carving things out with wood, again, sort of artisan. And for me, the Eight of Pentacles normally indicates a period where you're going to either sit down and do something beautiful. It's like writing, creating, home improvements, whatever you want to look at, but it's usually hands-on work. You've got the idea, you've already got the training that you need, and you're actually working on it. For some of you, you may decide to go back to school, because this can be a card of certification, of knowledge expansion. So you might just be reading a lot or talking to people that inspire you. I love all of those elements of this card. And so when someone around you is trying to block you, then what you want to do is to stay inspired and to keep busy and to not give up. And the Eight of Pentacles is a very busy card, but one that shows whatever you invest in it, you're going to get a really wonderful outcome. The Eight of Pentacles gives way to the 9, which is abundance, the 10, which is having other people see it and buy into it. And it also is, this is the only sort of suit where the Three of Pentacles kind of is an evolution of this. You go down a little bit, but eventually you'll get recognition too, because this is the Apprentice card and the Three of Pentacles is the sort of Master card. So you'll eventually take what you're doing and be finished with it. You can share it with others. You're not quite there yet. And what I want to sort of convey to you this month is give this time to incubate. It's like you have an egg and you're sending it love, sending it warmth, taking care of it. Whatever your project is, people may not understand it, or whatever your idea is, it's a little bit premature to bring it out to the world. So finish it up. Finish up what you're trying to think about conveying. And when it comes to like big conversations, this would be the time where you want to really walk through in your mind, how will this be presented? And if you're trying to pitch an idea or a patent or whatever, how am I going to articulate it? Who am I going to have on my team? How are we going to get this together? It's not ready to market just yet for some of you. A little bit of work, a little bit of polishing, and I think by month's end, you'll be in a much better place. Because, by the way, we have the Three of Pentacles here, which I said the two of these cards go hand in hand. The 3 is in the reverse state, but the 8 is not. It's crossing. So give it time before you do that. But by the 3rd or 4th week of the month, you'll be there. All right, let's look at your deep past. It's about taking back control. I mentioned that also this could be coming through from a maternal figure or like a parent, absolutely, with the Empress. The Empress reversed is someone who tends to be sort of like a helicopter mom or dad, or and if it's a manager, they're kind of micromanaging. They have a hard time letting go and trusting you. The interesting thing about this is that can be unfortunately, it can be an energy that you start to absorb and then you doubt yourself. Don't doubt yourself. You're skilled. In fact, you're an artisan. And whatever you're trying to do, again, even if that's not working in the arts, what I'm saying is you have the knowledge, you have the skills, you have the vision. Don't let someone else's doubts take you off that path. Trust in what you have. The most important thing that you can do this month is, for some of you, you might need to step out on your own because you have what it takes to do what you need to do, or you need to find a different group or different leader, a different boss. You need to somehow step out and find someone who can see you and what you're trying to do. nurture yourself, nurture your ideas. And as I was saying earlier, you have the energy here also of the Nine of Pentacles. And the Nine of Pentacles is wealth, abundance, and independence. I mentioned earlier that your sign can be very independent as well as being headstrong. Use that energy to your advantage, because look what that does. It creates growth, abundance, and really everything that you're looking for in your life when it comes to being able to bring something forward. When we look at other elements of your life, I'm actually really happy with your finances this month. We have 3 great cards of abundance and resources: the 8 of Pentacles, the 9 of Pentacles, and the 3 of Pentacles. So if you've been having a period in the past where you were worried about money, I'm not seeing things to worry about this month. As long as you manage resources in a proper way, I think that you have exactly what it takes to do whatever it is that you want to do. So enjoy that right now. I think it's important for you to redirect, refocus, and if that's something you want to grow, this card is showing that you have every ability to either take something and make it last longer than you thought you could, or for some of you, innovate, sell, and get people to buy in. So I see the ability for wealth to grow in your life. I'd like to make one final note before I move past this card, and that's in regards to your diet. Certain cards trigger nutritional information for me. Sometimes, like when I see the 7 of Pentacles, it can show a mineral deficiency or a protein deficiency. For me, the 9 of Pentacles is a warning to eat more vegetables than fruit. So if you're a vegetarian or you're trying to control your sugar intake this month, you really want to be focusing on nice leafy green vegetables, and whatever fruit you eat, try to eat the ones that have a lower sugar content. And you can Google that. I'm not a dietitian, but that's the one thing that I'm seeing with this. The 9 cards in tarot can show an imbalance and sometimes an overabundance of one thing. With Pentacles, you want to really make sure that because it's earthy, you don't want to have too much starch, you don't want to have too much sugar, and because usually it's showing something on a vine or on a tree, that's where I was looking at making sure the balance is okay with the fruit and the sugar content of the fruit. There are some that are much higher, and you want to cut that back a little bit. All right, let's look now at your crowning card. We have the upright Wheel of Fortune, showing me again that things are headed in the right direction for you as far as money, wealth, opportunity are going, and whatever it is that you're trying to create, change, or grow in your life, keep up with that. The other thing with this is showing that your attention is probably being brought to bigger things. Some of you may be kind of more involved in politics or global issues. You might also be interested in travel. The Wheel of Fortune, just like the World card, can show that you want to expand a little bit, and also that you're looking at things over time, because for me this is a seasonal card, and I think many of you, I've mentioned this in a couple of signs, it's a new 12-month cycle for you, because this card has come up more than once in the crowning position. So I want you to think of this as your sort of new year, even though we typically celebrate that in January. Whatever you decide to do right here, right now, is going to set a brand new series of events into creation. And so you have a lot of power and a lot of opportunity at your disposal this month, which is exciting. Around the midpoint of the month, we have Justice in the reversed state. And justice has a very specific connotation when it comes through upside down. Upright, it can show balance, things working out in your favor, often a good decision that might come your way. If you're waiting for someone to say yes on something, it usually means a yes. The reverse usually means that someone is going to try to block, challenge, or perhaps say no, or even dissolve a contract. So what does this mean for you? First of all, when I looked at the card, the words and the thoughts in my head were, don't take no for an answer. So this might have to do with maybe like working with your bank, or working with a boss, or having a family member that's not keeping up their end of the bargain. When you have some room to negotiate because of your good history, because you really care about something and you just think to yourself, no, I can make this work, make it work this month, because all people are doing is kind of pushing you a little bit to see, are they passionate? Are they going to push back? In some cases, when you come forward and say, no, this is what we need to do, they'll say, well, okay, let's talk about it. You might actually have someone that's a little bit malleable there. So don't take no, or don't take the first no as the final say. Push one more time, at least one more time, to get a second rejection, and then at that point, you know you can move forward. Justice reverse can also mean that you're ready to leave. Because we have the Wheel of Fortune in the crowning position, some of you may be deciding to get rid of some sort of an investment. You might be deciding to change your job. You may also decide that you're ready to get a divorce or move out or something like that. So it's okay. The fact that so many cards around it are very strong is telling me that you understand what you're doing. And if that's the case, then when you're ready, go ahead and execute against that decision. When I look in your ego this month, the message is to keep your eyes and ears open. The Four of Cups is always a card of opportunity, and we even see here of things opening up to you. The key component to this is how open, how aware, how open-minded are you? Because typically the illustration will show a cup floating in the air, and sometimes the person has razor focus and they miss the opportunity. So for you this month, I feel like there is something that is untapped or unusual around you that you can use to your advantage. When we get back to sort of your breakthrough, this could be that you're trying to do something that is, again, unconventional, unexpected, and because of that, yes, people around you may not understand it, but that doesn't negate how important it might be to you, your future, or to the world. So I want you to trust in the vision and don't give it up. And then the other piece is that if you're trying to figure out how to get something done in your life, simply keep your eyes and ears open because you may get a lead, you may get some assistance from an unexpected source. As we look in your environment this month, the message is ask questions, be aware, and don't be afraid to have a face-to-face confrontation if you need to. We have the Moon card reversed, which can show that you're aware of something going on. It may come to you word of mouth. You may just sort of have this inkling that you need to talk to somebody. And I know that's a lot of times how my own intuition will work. I'll know that someone is upset or that they've said something even before they've come to me because I intuitively pick up on that either through dreams or just my own gut instinct. So for you, I really want you to honor that this month. If you have this nagging feeling to pick up the phone or send an email, then do that. Check in on someone and say, hey, we're overdue to catch up. Let's meet for lunch. Or I really want to talk to you about this. I feel like this person will probably be relieved that you took the initiative. And by doing so, you can diffuse what could otherwise be a conflict. The Moon card upright can sometimes be just that. The reversal of this means, hey, you're actually taking ownership. And when we're looking in the possibility space, we have the Strength card reversed, which we have these two power cards that are a little bit off kilter, and they both are really strong divine feminine energy. So whoever in your life is either always trying to kind of nurture, mother, or control you, this month you want to counter that energy a little bit and take the initiative and say, this is how it needs to be done. Because when you show up as a strong person in their life and in your life, they'll no longer kind of doubt what you're doing or feel like they need to kind of butt in all the time. And suddenly you're going to start to course correct, and it's almost like you're training them that this doesn't work for you anymore. So the second piece of your big opportunity this month is to take your power back and to model through behavior, through communication, and through your own persistence that when you've made your mind up and when you're sort of set on something, that people can't have their way or push you off course. Your outcome card is fantastic, by the way. We have the Three of Pentacles, which is ultimately showing that you're going to get acceptance, acclaim, recognition. The card is reversed, which shows, as we've been talking about, there's a little bit of required work that has to be done first, namely that you might have to stand up and say, this isn't right, or no to someone. You might have to talk to them if they're doing something that you don't agree with. You may also have to push back and, in this particular instance, stand strong in your own path on your own decision. Once you've started to do this and you just keep doing your thing, your work, then suddenly there's no way for you to go but up, or for some of you, you may decide to leave because, you know, if this is a place of employment or even if it's a relationship, they're not appreciating you. And at the end of the day, your time is really valuable. It doesn't matter what dollar sign you put on it. It's more a matter of we come into this planet with a finite amount of breath and heartbeats and time, seconds to our life. None of that is worth your struggle if that person or the situation around you can't support you, can't lift you up, and can't let you be the person that I see, which is someone that has a lot of great ideas, a lot of potential, a lot of intuitive energy. So trust it, own it. And by the way, this is a very creative card and a very psychic card as well. So nurture that side of you, because with that in the environment this month, it really seems like you can go pretty deep into both intuition and into creativity this month, which I think it really doesn't matter what kind of work you do, what kind of walk of life you're in, that's going to support you and help you develop as a person. So overall, some really exciting stuff came through here. And now I'm looking forward to expanding the forecast. We're going to start with your health card, which includes mind, body, and spirit. I love the message that you got here this month in health. So often we focus on nutrition or general exercise and we forget the power of song and dance, and that's what we have here. Not only is it good for the body, but it's also really good for the spirit and your intuitive energy. Have any of you ever experienced a block in the throat chakra? I know I have. I had it once when I was in a really difficult work situation where there was just a lot of negative energy. I didn't feel like my voice mattered, and guess what? My throat and the throat chakra just kind of shut down, and it said enough is enough. And I couldn't speak for a week. It was really weird. I just had like a whisper. And that was a wake-up call for me that I needed to be in a situation where I knew that my voice mattered a little bit more. And as someone who likes to communicate, that was a big deal. For any of you that are singers, public speakers, or just use your voice, when it's gone, when it's taken away, I had to sort of sit in that quiet for a moment and think, why did this happen? What's going on in my life that's created this situation where I'm otherwise healthy, but I just stopped being able to speak? So I realized years later it was a chakra closing, and probably if I would have just tried laughter, singing, or talking to somebody, I could have started to open it up a little bit, and just the feeling that things would be okay. So anyway, if you start to regularly do something like maybe join a choir, or again, just sing around the house to yourself, etc., that's great. A step further though would be to use mantra. So anything like kirtan music, or you can create your own mantras too if we're just going to use like spoken word and you wanted to say something each morning like today is going to be a good day. Just starting the day with those words or that thought is going to be really powerful. But the voice helps manifest your thoughts. So if you have sort of an intention or manifestation journal, you could read aloud what it is you're trying to create or what you are creating to take it a step further. And as you speak that, it becomes sort of like a contract or a truth. So just know there's great power in song and in speaking, particularly when you are allowing for your own truth, your own voice, your own strength to come through. The dancing component here is also wonderful. This is saying that you don't always have to go to the gym to be able to get a good workout and to be able to move energy all the way through you. When I was doing my yoga teacher training, I had a teacher that would sometimes play dance music, and it was kirtan to a dance beat. And she would say, all right, get it all out. And we would have a moment or two to just really let all of the energy go through our bodies. And then we would go into a really deep trance later during that session. And what it taught me is that you can't keep things bottled up. And you can't always be this even, calm, perfect energy. So if there's something in your body or in your thoughts or in your, like in one of your chakras that feels blocked, do something fun. Laughter, song, play, whatever, it doesn't matter. We think only children can go around and play. No, as adults we can do the same thing, but it just might involve something different. It might be reading, it might be going to see a movie with a friend, but I want you to do some sort of an equivalent of having fun and playing as an adult, and see if it doesn't start to change your energy into the positive direction. And this is going to affect everything in your life, from your mood to your health to your productivity. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at wealth. Wealth is not just money, it's also the opportunities that come into your life and also your self-confidence. So let's give the cards a shuffle and see what the message is for you this month. So in wealth, we have a really interesting message here. It says, softly, softly, the tender touch. But notice how the energy is actually coming from the throat or the voice. And there's also a really definite connection with the third eye. So when you're looking at areas that you can affect productivity or opportunities this month, a soft-spoken word can actually have more of an impact than an argument or than you having to sort of like fight your way through something. The other thing with this is sometimes less is more. So a simple yes or no when you're giving an answer or doing something, it's going to have a lot more impact than if you have to explain yourself around the block and back. So I think this month what I'm seeing in all of your opportunity space here when it comes to wealth is to really pick something, stick to it, and know that brevity is your friend. So in that sort of vein, I'm not going to over-explain this other than what I just said, and try to stand firm to your ideals, your message, and if you do that, I think that it will bring about more success this month. The only other thing that I see here is that you shouldn't have to oversell something in your life. So if you're trying to sell a house, sell a product, get someone to buy into an idea, if they can't see it from the beginning, they're probably never going to see it. And if you can really just sort of highlight the salient points, I think that's going to be a lot more effective than trying to go overboard. Again, less is more. Let's move along now to love and see what's coming through for relationships in your life this month. For close relationships this month, be careful because we have Aries, the god of war, here in love and relationships. And kind of building out of what I just saw in your wealth card, I think that less is more. It's okay this month to be direct and to try to resolve any sort of issues that have been sitting around for a while, and it's just time to sort of speak your mind. But you don't need to argue. You don't need to go into some great discussion. I think what's important for you is to find that sense of control and strength this month and focus on what you need to do in order to get back to work, to focus on things that matter, because your crowning card, the Wheel of Fortune, is saying you're moving in the right direction. The question is, do your key relationships, do they sort of fit within that picture? There might be one or two people that kind of orbit or fall out of the general sort of group of friends that you have, but my experience in life is that you usually get a quote-unquote upgrade when that happens. So if there's someone in your life that is either unnecessarily negative or is doing things that you hear about later, maybe saying or doing things behind your back, or just seems a little bit controlling and is unable to allow you to be the strong person that you can and should be, then it's okay if they're sort of moving away or moving on. So there's a little bit of cleaning up that needs to happen. Just be careful in the conversations you have. I would say pick your words wisely and decide if it's really worth your time and energy to get into some sort of a disagreement with someone. As I look at all of these wonderful cards, there's a lot of pentacles, a lot of practical, good, earth, grounded energy, which shows me like productivity in work, success in money, and progress with health. I think those areas of your life are more deserving of your sort of time and attention than an argument. With that being said, you can resolve things. You can make a decision this month, as we saw with Justice. Just avoid unnecessary words, because Aries is very much like the Ten of Swords, and you really don't want that energy entering into the picture this month. All right, let's close with your Destiny card and see if you're happy with the path that you're on, or if there's any course corrections that might happen after you see this. Interesting that we end very close to where we began here, which was create new habits, new projects, focus on the possibilities. So with the Birth card in reverse, this is telling you to not delay on starting something new this month. This is the time to make it happen. All of these other things that we saw, especially when we're looking at some of the miscommunications or misdirection when it comes to some of the personal relationships, that's just going to take you off path. There is so much positive energy for you this month in the area of being able to be more productive, improving your finances, and improving your health. That's where really the energy needs to go. And then for those of you that are at a point in your life where you want to create something or change something, that's really your breakthrough this month, is to focus on the future and setting it up right now. When we look at the Three of Pentacles here in your outcome, even though it's reversed, it's still very positive. This means for many of you that you want it to happen now, but it's going to happen soon. What you need to do is sort of release the desire to make it happen within the next week or the next 2 weeks, and just know that it will happen and trust in that, and you'll be surprised then. All of a sudden you'll get a phone call, an email, or someone will come through and just say, hey, we're ready for this. Are you ready? And magically everything falls into place. So the overall energy of this month at the end anyway, if you do everything right, is Genesis. And then I see a lot of cards here around recognition and possibly payment as well. So I have an optimistic view for many of you about how your money, resources, and creativity is flowing this month. Overall, pretty good. Let's go ahead now and review everything before we get into the final word. As we just discussed, the energy this month is all about that of creation. I wrote down forge, create new habits, focus on the possibilities. And this is right in line with what we saw here at the end, birthing or creating something new. The fact that it was reversed is showing that there's almost an overwhelming desire and need to make something happen fast. I would say try to just enjoy the process of it, be present, and get back to what it was that really engaged you to be creative, and that in and of itself will allow for it to grow faster. And the reason that we see sort of like a tree or a plant growing here is because just like that, you can't really force some of the growth process. It's all about nurturing it. And if you've ever sort of like taken a week or two away from your house and you have plants outside, you'll notice that all of a sudden they seem to grow really fast. The truth is it's just because you shifted your attention. The same thing will happen here. If you just focus on the creation of it and stop trying to kind of look at how long it's taking, all of a sudden you'll notice that something has completed and that people are interested and that you've moved forward. All right, when we look at, actually we'll jump to your catalyst. Don't overthink things this month. Your intuition is wide open and you need to really honor that. Sometimes knowledge can get in the way of the truth of intuition, so find a balance between the two and try not to be overly practical. There may be people this month that try to hold you back. Focus instead on what's important to you and don't let this person stand in the way of getting something done. They are coming through as the Empress card and also the Strength card. This can be very pushy. Same thing with Justice. All three of those key authority cards were reversed, which can mean someone that's overly controlling, someone who will say no or shut things down, and someone who tries to take your power. This month, work on making all three of these in the upright position. Be assertive, don't take no for an answer, and really work on feeling confident. And I would also say with the Strength card, work on your own physical strength this month, because a lot of times the energy depends on the vessel that it's existing in. So the stronger your body, the stronger your mind, the stronger the energy that flows through you. You can become a better channel. When we look at all of the wonderful Pentacles cards near the center, we have crossing the center, the Eight of Pentacles, which is great for writing, creating, and learning. Then we have the Nine of Pentacles, which shows growth and sustainability. In your crowning position, you have the Wheel of Fortune, which can indicate a new season of your life. It can show a change in the positive when it comes to your money. It can also indicate a desire to travel or expand upon things. All in all, I really like what I'm seeing towards the center. When we're looking at the environment and the near future, this is where things can get a little tricky for some of you. There may be someone that's standing up this month again and is trying to make you doubt yourself. They might say no. They may be putting a little bit of block in place. Just remember, with Justice reversed, the message I received was to push back initially, because that first no may actually be a test and you may have a little bit of negotiation room. With the Four of Cups, part of this may be because you can come up with a better solution, or you can make them second guess themselves, which is a really interesting way to turn the tables. The Moon card reversed. I really don't want you to have any sort of patience when it comes to people playing games this month. This is where you do want to speak up. Just remember, brevity is your friend. You don't need to get into any arguments. Just say no or move on to something else if you need to. Focus, as I said earlier, on your physical strength because that's going to help you be stronger in mind and in spirit. The Three of Pentacles is showing that eventually whatever you're working on finishing or kind of getting out to the world will be recognized. But if you notice in relationships that you're not being appreciated, then this is a chance also for you to move on. Reviewing health, wealth, love, and destiny one more time. With health, there's power in using your voice and also dancing. So singing and movement are key to happiness there and healthiness as well. Looking at wealth, the message here is that you don't have to speak loud or argue to get your point across. Less is more. Being sort of steady and firm with what you're saying is also stronger. And if that person or that situation doesn't react to that, then it's time to move on. Relationships, a warning to not get in any sort of unnecessary conflict this month. With Aries, the god of war, you could definitely end up crossing wires when it comes to communication. So face-to-face communication is better, and if you feel like something is getting escalated, then it would be better to move on or to reschedule. The big energy this month, and really the big opportunity for you, is to focus on creation, forging things, and the possibilities, and that's what we see here with this Birth or Genesis card at the end. This brings our monthly reading to a close, but hopefully you got exactly what you needed to navigate all of the twists and turns in the month ahead and really embrace all of the blessings that are in front of you. And there are so many, particularly when it comes to productivity and money and growth. I'm excited about that for you. If you ever want to talk a little bit more about something that you're trying to develop spiritually, or if there's something in your life where you just want another point of view, I'm here for you. You can click on the first card in the video or the first link below, and this will take you to my booking site where you can book an appointment if that's something that you're interested in. For those of you that would simply like to say thank you and to support the energy and the effort that goes into making these videos, you can click on the second card or the second link below the video. This will take you to my donation page, and there's so many ways that you can give back. If you'd like, you can do a one-time contribution. You can also do a continuing contribution, or something that's brand new, you can be a member here on my YouTube channel just by clicking that join button. So no matter how you give back, know that it really makes an impact in allowing me not only to continue to buy cool cards and supplies, but more importantly, it allows me to set up time on my calendar so that I can do readings just like this. Each one takes about 6 hours, which is a lot of time actually, and I like to really put my heart and soul into these. So when you give me a contribution, I can get them done quicker and I can keep up this high quality. So to everybody that has done this before, you're the reason today's reading was possible. And if you would like to make the next round possible, then please click that link, and I appreciate you. Finally, another way that you can make a difference is super easy, and it really just involves a couple of clicks. If you haven't already liked the video and subscribed to the channel, that's the first thing that you can do. The second thing is to click on the third card or the third link, and this will bring you to my website where you can connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, as well as my newsletter. And the last thing is, if you really want to make a difference, you can become an advocate of sort and basically share this on your social media feed. By doing that, you help connect me to other people that would benefit from a free message. And ultimately, I'm trying to kind of spark the light and the intuition in everybody, creating light workers on the planet. So when you share it, you help me with that life goal, which is to sort of raise consciousness. So I really appreciate you. No matter how you choose to give back, know that it makes a difference. Let's end with your closing message here. I'm looking here at the birth message that came through. For many of you, this is really, really exciting because it's showing me that whatever you've been working on maybe over the past year, the past few years, this month provides sort of this beacon of hope or a breakthrough where you start to see progress. We have the Three of Pentacles, which is recognition, and we also have some really good cards surrounding money, like the Wheel of Fortune. This is a month where I think it would be towards the end. We mentioned there's a little bit of finishing to do, but last 2 weeks of the month, I think you could start to engage with people that you trust and say, hey, what do you think? Because there's a lot of buy-in here with Nine of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles. So for those of you that have been looking for a month where you could shift your productivity, shift the money, and also your self-confidence, I'm seeing all of that happening for you this month. Remember, how you think and how you feel, that's what's going to happen around you. That's what you're going to either pull in or cause sort of a challenge to happen if you doubt yourself. So Think about the possibilities, believe in yourself, and then you can help manifest this Wheel of Fortune card. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. Your time is as valuable as mine, and I appreciate you spending the last 40 minutes or so with me. You have so many choices, not only here in YouTube, but also in life. So I'm honored and humbled by your presence as well. Keep working on yourself, keep shining brightly, and bring whatever it is that you're trying to create into the world. We need exciting projects and ideas just like the ones that you have. Take care, and I'll see you next month.